how do you get the after picture? I built my whole career off of getting the transformation. And that's what people usually come to me for at first. And then they realize it goes deeper than that. And I used to just do that, but it backfired. So today I want to tell you a short story of how you get the after picture and the downfalls of that, the pitfalls of it, and how to do it the right way. So you don't just get there, but you live there and you love it. Ready? Let's do this. So I feel like theme music should play right there. But there was this competition called the World's Best Personal Trainer contest when I was like 23 years old. I was at a personal training conference in Baltimore, Maryland. And I saw this big banner and I went up to the table and I went up to the guy. His name was John Spencer Ellis. And I said, I'm going to win this. And he goes, haven't heard that once today. I guess apparently everyone was saying that to him. And then they designed it really well. So you really couldn't cheat. And it wasn't about playing favorites. Because I wouldn't have won if that was the case. But what they did was they had different categories. And I did a category, and then I trained somebody. I had to take their measurements, take their pictures, build their program, and then they did the program for 12 weeks. And then I would take their measurements and take their pictures and send it in. So there's no way to really cheat. You had to document everything too. So you had to document every workout, everything they ate the entire time. It was a lot of work. And then you got flown in, if you were a finalist, to Irvine, California. And they didn't tell you this, but when you got there, you met like all the people you learned from as a trainer, like all the experts and researchers, if you're a good trainer, you know who they are and you admire them. And I'm only 23. And so I wasn't real confident going in that room. And they were all sitting at this table, and then they just start to, quiz me on everything I did, like my whole philosophy of life, basically. I did well because I knew what their philosophies were because I study all these different people. And so I won, I got a bunch of money and stuff. And then there was another trainer there that had people in more than one category. And I was like, I didn't know I could do that. So the following year I said, I'm going to win every category. And so I went through it. I did a seminar, I recruited clients, and then I documented everything just like I did the year before. And I sent in a crate. I purposely put them all in one big giant wooden box. Like you were sitting like something very precious, something very valuable. Had all this stuffing in it and stuff. It looked really cool. And when they got that, it was like, it stood out. And I won every category. I got flown out again, and they asked me all the questions and did all that stuff. And then that became kind of my trademark because I got a lot of accolades for it. I was on the news every day teaching fitness, had a radio show, newspaper column when people read newspapers, all this stuff. And I'm sharing it with you because there's a reason for this, and you'll know in a second. But we have a lot of before and after pictures. Now, not all those people stayed that way. Now, if you were to have a transformation, like I'm thinking of someone in particular right now that lost over 100 pounds, and they received all the praise in the world for it, and then they relapsed. Why is that? Well, I can tell you exactly why, because I made this my life mission. It's because they didn't change what they see in the mirror. Through their eyes, they still thought they were that overweight human, and they thought that's who they were. So your identity is what drives all your behavior. And your identity, put very simply, is everything you believe about life and about you. So when you say, I'm the type of person that, or I'm not the type of person that is how you find your identity. And really, it is a process of contemplating it and asking these questions again and again and again. And then you have to step into the identity of the type of person that loves to train. You have to step into the identity of the type of person that looks at food as fuel. They don't eat for pleasure. They enjoy it, but that's not why they eat. They eat to sustain this vehicle that you have been blessed with, this miraculous machine that no one can replicate, no matter how hard they try. And so that's just a couple examples. So that became a program I made. It was a 12-week program, and it was how to cut your body fat in half in less than 90 days. And it did that and then some. Now, around that same time is when the internet started publishing research. Before, you had to pay money for journals they would get sent to you. So I have all these journals coming to me in the mail every month. And it was hard to read all that now. So on the internet, you could search things and find it. And then the National Library of Medicine started publishing it. And PubMed is one of them. And so I started reading the research every year, and I would do seminars for trainers and health professionals. And I still train clients, and I started getting athletes at this point. And so I would read the research, and I have a whole system for this. I still do this to this very day. And then I would put it into my program. So I have different protocols for different goals. So if I have a football player that is a quarterback, there's a protocol for that. From training a bunch of quarterbacks in the NFL and in colleges, I have protocols for all these things. So I have all these templates that have been tested. It's not, I don't start from ground zero with a client. I have something that is battle tested. And then when research comes out, I test it again. I actually do the programs. And I see what that's like and see if that's feasible. Can someone actually live that, or is that just too much? And then we test it on real people, and then we modify these programs. That's how it is. So over the years, it gets better every year. We take out what the new discoveries are, apply it to the templates, and then test them with real people, and then see how that goes. And we have this process again and again and again. Well, around that same time, I started training Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and he was moving from wrestling to acting, and no wrestler was ever successful in Hollywood. And Hulk Hogan, even, who was the most famous wrestler of all time, got pigeonholed as this monster. Like, he could only do certain roles, and he didn't want that to happen. So he had to go against his genetics and get lean and mean, to be almost like a normal person, so he could play roles of true life stories that are played in Hollywood. You can go back and see the types of movies he did, but it was very difficult because that's not his nature. His nature is to be jacked. His father, super jacked. His grandfather on his mother's side, big Samoan guy. People may say he's just naturally that way. He is naturally that way, but he works his ass off on top of it. But he is a student of it too. He's a student of self-mastery, asking questions all the time. And so about that time, he was going through this, and then I built a program for him. He cut his body fat in half in less than 3 months. And then other people wanted to do it. So I started doing it every year, and it really evolved. Now, this is where I really learned the psychology of this. And that's why I share this with you. So there is a part of this program is the psychology. And the people that would do the mental conditioning exercises first had a significantly higher success rate. The ones that just went in, very low success rate. I won't tell you the exact numbers. I'm going to share that for later, but because I don't want you to do it for the wrong reasons, because this is something I'm sharing with you guys. But I want to tell you the precautions first, because it's not for everybody. This is for the people that are humble students of self-mastery. This is not for anyone else. If you're just doing it because you don't like the way you look, do not do this program, because it will mess you up. And I mean that. I don't mean that. You first need to learn how to love your body, accept it, and have a reverence for your body and a reverence for life, and then do these types of protocols. Got it? So over the years, I learned a lot. So I'm telling you this is a treasure map. Now, a treasure map, you can get a treasure map and never find the treasure. Why? Because it is a call to adventure. It means it's going to have rocky terrain. You're going to have to travel long distances. You're going to have to do things that are uncomfortable, and you got to do it when you don't feel like doing it. So what you will have in front of you, you already have this, but this is another protocol that's been tested so long, is a treasure map, a blueprint for your best body. And you can do this rapidly, but you got to go all in on it. So if you have a schedule that doesn't allow that, then just forget this. Keep doing what you're doing. That works too. But I'm trying to find an edge mentally to inspire you to go deeper, because there are 3 pillars of power, I call them. If you just train, that's awesome. You'll live longer. You'll live better. You'll have a better quality of life when you're 100 years old. You won't be feeble and have to wear a diaper. That's been proven. You will actually live longer. Now, but it won't always give you the after picture, because you really need 3 things. The first one is consistent, challenging physical training. And you're doing that 6 times a week, 3 days of strength training, 3 days of cardio, mobility every day. It's all built in, right? That's ideal. But if you eat too much food, even if it's healthy food, you will not burn fat. You'll put on some muscle, but you'll probably put on some fat too. That's the first law of thermodynamics. So you have to have an effective eating plan that both allows you to maintain muscle and release stored fat for fuel. Not easy to do, because there's a sweet spot. If you eat too little, which is what most people do, they'll break down muscle. And for every 10 pounds you lose about 6 pounds of muscle. That will make you more tired, because muscle is the site in the body, not only where you burn fat, but where you make ATP. That's how we get fuel in the body. It is critical. Muscle is gold. It is Bitcoin. It is the most precious substance in the world. And so I just want to make this very clear. So you need to have a physical training program. It's got to be consistent. It's got to be challenging. Challenge creates change. You've got to have an effective eating program that is consistent too. You can undo an entire week of perfect eating. If you ate to the T and you have a cheat day like people used to do all the time, you can undo the whole week. And every week of this program, I'm going to teach you these stories and the principles behind them. So at the end, this is something I would do if I was training a personal trainer, to do this to help other people. So you can become your own best coach. That's my intention with this. And my other intention is to get inspiring stories so other people take action and better themselves. Now, you got to have physical training. You got to have effective eating. But the X factor is mental conditioning. You need a mindset to carry through these actions. And that's where these little mental conditioning exercises built into the workouts are so important. But before next week, I'm going to send you a link, and there's going to be a form to fill out. I'm going to read every single one of these things, and I will be able to tell if you will be successful or not. I promise you, 90% of the time at least, I'll be able to tell you just by reading that thing. And so keep that in mind. 3 things. You need to consistently challenge your body with physical strength training, cardio, and having some mobility exercise. We do that. If you're just doing cardio and have the eating plan, you will lose weight, but it will be primarily muscle, and you will slow your metabolism, and likely you will relapse because you can't lose that much muscle. You'll eat the same amount of food and put on fat. I'll teach you that stuff too. I'm just giving you a teaser for this because I want to see if you're in. I'm testing the waters here because you got to be all the way in. And how do I know if someone's going to be successful? Well, there are 3 types of people, 3 archetypes of commitment. 1, a dabbler. That's someone that just tries everything new. They'll do a program and they're like, oh, I'm so in. And then there's like a shiny object over here and they change everything. And so they want the new thing. They're looking for novelty. They're really just trying to be entertained. They will never be successful in anything in life. They won't even be entertained. The next one is more common. It's the most common of the people that I work with. It's the committed achiever. These are good people, hardworking people. I was one of these people most of my life, honestly. And when things were going good, I would say, I'm going to do more. I'm going to work harder. When things were going bad, I just got to work harder. I'm going to do more. So everything was doing, and I would do too much. And a lot of times I would hurt myself or I would burn out. And I remember there'd be days I would just fall asleep because I haven't slept. I was working so hard. I just fall asleep. I just couldn't stay awake anymore. My body just shut down on me. And I'm sure you guys have experienced these things too. The committed achiever is often not successful, even though they work hard, because it's not just about action. A lot of achievers just do more blindly. You feel good? Hey, I'm getting great results. I can get even more results because more is better. That is the thought process, and that is the downfall of the committed achiever. A committed achiever in a relationship would look like something like this, like in a marriage, for instance, and this is very common, is that they're like, I'm not quitting. I'm going to be here, but the entire time they're a complete jerk because there's a higher level. And so what I mean by complete jerk, I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to enjoy it. I got to suffer. The committed achiever is obsessed with suffering because they don't feel like they're enough. They don't feel like they're worthy. And they have to believe that they have to suffer. They have to sacrifice in order to be enough. And that is a very common pattern, especially among committed achievers. It's the trademark pattern. But there's the highest level. The highest level is the path of devotion. It is very similar to the committed achiever, except they know that they are worthy. We are all worthy. Otherwise, we would not be here. We don't need to prove anything, but we have been blessed with the gift of life, which is why we are here. That's what makes us worthy. And we have been blessed with an able mind. If you're part of this program, you have an able mind, which is a beautiful thing. Not everyone does. And a miraculous body, a spiritual vehicle that allows you to navigate this 3-dimensional world and create life on your terms. But not everyone's doing these things, and we're not taking care of these bodies. And like with my mother, she took care of everyone else first, and her body broke down and she was trapped in her body. She was a slave to her body. She was a prisoner to her body. And that's really why I do this program. I don't have to do these programs. I get to, and I want to do them because I want to change the world. I want to be able to scale this and help a lot of people where I'm not the face of it. I'm just behind the scenes, but you can transform it because the amount of misinformation that's out there is incredible. It's so confusing, yet it's so simple. And so when you lists like the most dangerous person in the world is someone that thinks they know stuff and they're very confident, but they only have surface level knowledge because they give terrible information, but they really believe it. And that is most of the world. People listen to some podcast here and there and they think they're an expert. What you find is when you really know something, like this is something I know. There's other areas I know I don't know, and that makes me less dangerous. Still dangerous, just less dangerous. But I know it's risky. Listen to me, so I always give people the disclaimer. But with the human body, I can tell you I know this shit, and I know it inside and out. This is all I do, and so when you really know something, you realize that there's just these basic principles. There's only a handful of things you got to do. They're not sexy, but when you follow these principles, it works in every single person, unless they don't have the right mindset. And I don't know if you listened to the last audio, but I quoted all these research studies which were mind-blowing, where just thought alone affected the outcome dramatically. And I'm going to teach you more of these things. So if you didn't hear it, you can go back and hear it, but I'm going to teach more of it. But by the end of these 12 weeks, my goal is to help you upgrade your belief system to what is actually true and what will empower you. And what happens when you take on a higher energy belief? It shatters the limiting beliefs. That is the real way to do that, my friend. And so what is this program? Well, this is the ultimate fat burning strategy. And it is a simple template that over the course of 12 weeks gradually builds upon itself. I'm going to teach you this next week in an overview, and so you'll know what this all is. But this is the program that has been proven work time and time again if you work. When someone says it doesn't work, I'm like, you didn't work. I can tell you that. I can promise you that. Something's missing. Maybe it's nutrition, maybe it's your training. Like I had a client that says, oh, I trained so hard. He trained so hard. I was like, he didn't even sweat. If you're not sweating when you're training, you were either in an ice box or you're not training. Like you should sweat when you train. Like you need to challenge yourself. You got to push yourself and you got to learn to love that shit. So that is what I'm talking about, devotion. Not only the committed achiever will work their ass off, devoted person will too. The devoted student of self-mastery will do it and stay in love-based emotion. That is self-mastery. When you can do difficult things with a smile on your face, where you can learn to enjoy everything. The things you once disliked or even hated, you can do them from a place of centeredness and a place of effective action, where you are in love-based emotion. That is true mastery of life. Who are the people that are revered in every culture? It's the ones when life is really tough that they can stay centered, they can stay connected, and they can lead the way. And that's what you guys have in you, and that's why I'm talking to you. And so you're here for a reason and purpose, and that's why I want to go the extra mile here and share this protocol with you, because once you learn it, you can do it the rest of your life, honestly. But you have to first have these basic things in place. And if not, it's going to do more harm than good. So just be honest with yourself where you're at. I'm going to send you a form next week online. Fill that out. I'll tell you if you can do it or not, because I'm looking out for you here. I'm not being a jerk, but it's not for everyone. So if you fill out that form and I see the red flags, I'll tell you what they are. I'm like, you're not ready yet. Okay. But if you do, and everything checks out, and I feel like it'll be beneficial to you and it'll possibly change your life massively, I will tell you and I will show you the next step. All right, my friends, just reply to this message and let me know if you're in or you're out. I totally get it. If you have a crazy life right now and you're not ready for this, that's okay too. It won't take more time. It'll be about the same amount of time probably. Okay? Thanks so much. Love you guys. Bye. You tap into the real you, but you have to retrain yourself. The way you retrain yourself is you wake your ass up in the morning and you say, I am here for a reason and a purpose. And it's bigger than my moods. It's bigger than the difficulties of the day. I am here to live like a lion, not the fear of a lamb.